now tuned into the Activated Podcast with your host, I'll be ready as we stay activated. Let's go.
Sunday, November the 4th, 7 degrees on the outside in the greatest city in the world, Toronto, and we're live on G987 FM. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest in the building. He is, what are you, man? What are you, an MC? He's an MC.
I am a jack of all trades. I do
Yeah, look at you. No. Ain't nobody got time for doing everything right there. Nobody got time for that. He's an MC. He's a podcast host.
Yes.
He has a podcast called Activated, and he is representing the great continent of Africa. The one and only Igbo is in the building. Good afternoon.
What up? And just to be sure, I just want to put it out there. I am from Niger. All right. All my Nigerian, I know you're going to get mad at me, but today is my time to shine. Okay?
Shots fired.
But thank you. Honestly, this is incredible. Like, it's things that I've been working on that got me to come here today. And big shout out to Bonde for allowing me to come on this platform and Ms. Go-To Girl as well. To come and just, kick it with y'all for a little bit, see what y'all do.
So we've known you to be this quiet, silent assassin. Quiet, silent assassin. Always in the background. You used to be maybe you still are.
Yes.
Motherland Entertainment.
Shout out to MLE.
Still family, still there, of course.
Yeah, because the thing is, with Motherland, it's not even about us doing promotion in the city as far as like African events. Like, we're actually family. Like, Jacques, who started Motherland ENT, is my brother-in-law, he's my brother, you know what I mean? So when you used to see him all the time, you used to see me. I'm not talkative because I don't speak to people I don't know. I don't, you know what I mean? It's weird like that. Like, I'm not.
You don't speak to people you don't
and
know.
Honestly,
so how do you get to know people then?
In this business.
How are you going to get in this? Well, now he's in the business. Now he's talking more, though.
Now I have to open myself up because the platform that I created, which is Activated Podcast, it is meant to get people mind activated. So because of that, I've had to open up my social media. If you even look at my social media, I don't follow any celebrities. You know what I mean? I follow real, not to say fake people, but people that I could relate to on a one-on-one basis kind of thing. But when you decide to go in the media realm, you have to open yourself up so people can start paying attention to you a little bit. And I love connecting and deconnecting from social media.
All right.
You know
what Activated is now 1 year old. I saw you giving away some prizes and stuff like that. What got you to start Activated? Why, first of all, what got you to start it, and why the name Activated?
So I'm gonna start with the name. I used to do this thing on my Snapchat called Turn Up Shawty Activated, which means that from Thursday to Sunday, I took people through. I gave a little bit more of an insight of what I do, whether it's like going to work, partying, and just gave people a little bit of an inside look. So I did that for about 2-3 months, and then people started picking up to it to the point when I didn't do it, they would go, "Yo, Turn Up Shawty, how come you didn't activate it this weekend?" So I saw that it started to pick up interest. Mm-hmm. And also at the same time, I started to listen to podcasts. And honestly, my life has started to change because of my perspective on life has started to change from listening to podcasts. So I started learning about reading. I started to read more books. I started to really do research and not just, who Drake is dating and who Joe Budden's smacking, like more meaningful things. Mm-hmm. So when I decided to come up with a name, I was going to call it something about Turn Up Shawty, but I realized that name is not going to grow and will not progress. Like, Turn Up Shawty is a very small aspect of my life when I go and have fun, as I should, because I work very hard. So then Activated stood out to me, and shout out to my sister, Kibi. She went ahead and she designed the logo, shot a 2-minute trailer of the podcast, just letting people know, because up until this point, people probably didn't think that I could speak or even articulate myself in a certain manner. And I don't blame people because it's my fault, because this is things that I don't show the world. So once we got activated, the logo was going and the video dropped. I felt the pressure, but I knew at that point I had to move forward and really show people a little bit what's going on.
No, I absolutely respect what you're doing, and it's a different perspective. I know, you tell stories through the podcast, 37 episodes, so
Yes,
well done.
thank you.
And you've had Bonde on. I haven't been on yet, but maybe I will. I don't know. Definitely have a lot to say. But no, hats off to you for kind of taking a different angle, because a lot of people are doing a podcast or a blog or something like that, and it's sort of cookie cutterish, and it kind of has the same kind of vibe and energy. But you decided to, as you say, unlock and activate your mind, so it kind of makes people think a little bit outside of the box. So kudos to you for that.
100%, because the point of the podcast is once you listen to it, I want you to have one takeaway from the podcast, because this is truly great content. And I decided, and because I've been in the African industry for some time, I do have these relationships. Even having Bonde on, before having you on, I wanted to make sure that I was actually doing something meaningful. So I didn't go from the first episode like, yo, please, Bonde, come and give my podcast a look, because I also wanted you to come on and be proud of like, okay, this is not just, we're not just doing things just because we want to, like, I didn't get into podcasting because I wanted to be popular.
Right.
I'm actually popular in real life. Like, I know so many people, and in whatever realm I always stand out, but I just wanted to make sure that even those that are doing podcasts, which I pay attention to a lot, is that we got to start to look at it like this is real. It's a real thing. Mm-hmm. And when a lot of people listen to it, we have to start saying things that are meaningful and that helps, minority Africans and all that good stuff. So that's a little bit of that.
All right.
Yeah.
Ebo is in the building. Ebo, what is Ebo your name, or is it?
You've been butchering it, but
right.
Listen, I'm just
I
saying,
know.
right? Look how I'm arguing that I'm saying your name right. I'm arguing that I'm saying your own name right.
But honestly, is Ibu.
Ibu.
Like Boo.
Yeah.
Ibu.
IBU.
IBOU.
Right.
IBOU.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's very unique in Canada, but when you go back to Niger, you realize that everybody is Ibu. But because I'm the first one to make it here.
Wow.
You're the first Niger.
Everybody will
what are Niger people called? Nigerian?
See, the weird thing about that, when you say it in English, because we are French colonized, it doesn't, you can't tell the difference. So in English, you'll be Nigerian. But when you actually, for those speaking French, you know that there's a difference because it's Nigerian
Right.
and Nigerian.
Right.
Because the E and the A have a different sounding, it's a different sounding vowel when you speak French.
Oh, and you are one of those countries that speak French.
Yes.
Is French like the national language? Or
It is. French is national, but there's like all the African countries, there's like about 4, 5, 6 different dialects.
Yeah.
I speak French, I speak English, I understand Hausa, I can't speak it, and then I speak Zarma.
Okay.
Well, that's really cool.
Nice. Ibu.
Ibu.
Very, very good, Bonde. You got it.
He's in the business.
But listen, Bonde been butchering my name for about 3 years straight. It's love. I
Why did you correct me?
I mean, because I knew you was talking to me, so I don't know. You know what? It is my fault. I should have.
Yeah,
I should have.
Because if you say Bonde or Bundu to me, right there and then, I'm like,
And
no,
so
it's Bonde. Bonde.
I should have. But you know what I mean? All these things, you learn it to do it now and to have
There's time for everything, eh?
Yeah, like I'm saying, like today it makes sense because I'm here talking to you. I know I was here a year before with like 16 promoters and a fight almost broke out of the studio.
Oh my God, I remember that.
And people probably don't even remember I was here. I was here in that chair.
Yeah.
And even when you were asking the question, you were like kind of skip me, like, no, not you. I don't want you to talk. And you know what I mean? But
like my time will come.
I'm so patient with what I do that I understand that those that actually take time out to go listen to the podcast, you understand that like this is great content. This is good for the community.
Right.
And we also got to start paying attention to who we putting in a position of power, because if we start to support guys that, there's no giving back to the community, or they just in there just, like I'm saying, just to become popular, it kind of, over time, you see these true color shows.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, man. Yeah, I'll give you that, man. Shout out to you with great patience, and you really wait for the right time for everything and make sure everything is proper and everything. I've seen a few of the episodes that you put on. Shout out to Peter Tor. I saw Peter on that talking about Afrofest and stuff there. Speaking of Afrofest, you got a chance to host it this year for the first time. How was that experience?
That was incredible. Just to give you, I used to go to Afrofest to get girls, right? Like that was the whole point of that.
This guy's a bit too honest. Way too honest for me.
But the truth of that, because I want people to understand what matters is the journey. It's not the end product of where you are at. So, like, if you're listening to me today, like, I want you to maybe go back and watch my journey a little bit. So I used to go there just to pick up girls, and I used to go there super late, like 10 p.m., right when the show's done.
Wow.
And then, I mean, that's true. And then I met Jacques through him marrying my sister and things like that. And I got part of Motherland, and then we started doing the official Afrofest at the party. And then that was my beginning. But I always used to like see you and all the other MCs, Mc Bonde, you on there, and I always wanted to do that. But I never like pressured Peter, like, cause Peter's my guy. I never went to like, yo, Peter, put me on. Even him, like, he came and asked me, do you want to host? Because I started doing the podcast, and the year before I sat there, I was in the grass, I was looking at the stage, and I told myself, man, I want to do this next year. And then that kind of like started building from that, and then I let my platform give me the voice that I need when it's required. And you know, when I got on stage, it was incredible because this is almost 7-8 years in the making, and I finally get my chance to do it. And since then, I've been doing so much events that like it gotten crazy. Like people call me now. You know, I've done weddings. I've done shout out to Fali. I've done the concert. So yeah, that's kind of like a little bit. But tune into Activated Podcast. All that's, you know, it's all on there.
All right, he's coming back. We'll be here. Keep it locked. It's G.
Je ne sais plus ce que veut dire je ne peux pas. Toujours entouré de la famille, chez nous tu vois pas de chacun pour soi. On est beaucoup trop pour le trône, yeah. On fait voler le papier.
Ibu is here, so definitely I know he has something to add because I'm sure people have tried to submit music to you for your podcast. Right. Guys, when you're sending music, please, your artist name, okay? Your artist name and then the name of the song. You don't want to send us a song that's improperly labeled. I've got a lot of music submissions with improperly labeled songs, so we want to know the name of, you know, who you are, and of course the name of the song. If you want to include other information like who produced it and what have you, you can put it in brackets and put it after the name of the song. But it doesn't hurt to send the music. Clean version, so radio edited version, instrumental, and of course, you know, the actual version itself, MP3 format. You know, include a bio, you know, a nice, clean written bio. Don't write it yourself if you don't feel that, you know, you can write a compelling bio. Get someone to write it for you, a professional or somebody, you know, that writes very well. And of course, a headshot, that doesn't hurt. Nice, clean headshots always go a long way. But most importantly, when you're submitting music to us here at the African Groove Show, or Ibu or anyone else in radio or TV or has a podcast or a blog, again, include your name, the name of the song, even a short description in the body of the email, talking about what the song is about, what the video is about, who you are and what you're trying to do or what you're trying to convey, right, Bonde?
And don't send on WhatsApp.
Thank you so much for mentioning that.
Do you play music on your podcast?
I do. I've also had a local artist, shout out to KT3. He came on, we had, he had a project going out, and I listened to it, and I fell in love with it. So I reached out to him like, yo, come, let's have a conversation. We did an hour, and in between the podcast, I would like introduce a song and play it. And I mean, and surprisingly enough, like a lot of people listen to that and go, yo, this guy's dope. I was even pushing him to go and perform at Afrofest, but you know, it's one thing to do music, but it's the music business, making the songs is an important part, but he's done that because his songs are good. Now is the other part that he hasn't quite figured out is, you know, how to promote and things like that, but hopefully...
African?
Yeah.
From where?
He's Nigerian, but he has like this his sound is different. It's almost mimicking like UK vibe. I don't know if you...
Okay, yeah.
Like the J Hus notes, that kind of thing, which I love. Like this is Afro beat that I actually listen to all the time now, but...
All right.
Yeah.
We got Ibu in the building. He is a podcast MC, host, and he's in the building. He has a podcast called Activated. Where do they find Activated? How do people listen to Activated?
To Activated, you go on SoundCloud. For most people, that's the easier way. So when you go Activated Podcast, you go on SoundCloud. It's there. For those that are a little bit in tune with the podcasting thing, you can do it. It's on iTunes, and it's also on Google Play Music, which is actually, for me, is the best way to listen to it, because what that does is when you subscribe to the podcast, whenever I release it, it downloads on your phone while you sleep, you know, at nighttime. Wow. And once you finish listening to it, it removes it. So, like, you could listen to it anywhere. I have a group of podcasts that I listen to, so when I'm on a plane, I have access to it, which is sometimes what I like to listen to. So when I wake up, I usually listen to podcasts, and then throughout the day, I transition to listening to music.
Can you tell me why podcasts are trending now? Why are they such a big thing right now?
See, the thing about podcasts right now is popping like the mixtapes. You know, like it's like the artist, everybody got a mixtape kind of thing. But which is good. It's just that in Toronto, or even I think in Canada, we're not up to what the Americans are doing. Like Americans been up on podcasts, and people like make millions and millions of dollars. Also, what that does is when it's popping like the mixtape is like the quality of it drop. Like you could tell. I could listen to a podcast right away and tell like this person don't even have a mic. Like why do you have a podcast? Why do you record a podcast on your phone? Like it's a little better than that. And buying mics and things like my whole setup to get me started probably cost me like $120, $150. It's not.
Wow, really? That's it.
That's it. Like
and your setup is amazing too, because I've been there. I mean, it looks like,
and even now, like I've
looks like it's $1 million setup.
It is, and it sounds good. So that I don't want you when you listen to my podcast, I don't want you to be distracted by your baby crying in the background or your TV's on, that kind of stuff. So and 3 of my mics were donated to me. Like people that believe in the dream donated me mics, and the podcast when I first started recording, shout out to Pixelmate. She was really a big supporter. She let me borrow her laptop for 10 episodes until I could like figure it out. So, which is good. So now if you're aware of me, this is the best time to actually go listen to it. But I also want you to go listen to the first episode because I set the tone of what it is that I wanted to do. And now we're a year in, and I'm doing giveaways. I'm giving out merch. You know, it's been an incredible journey. I wake up every day and I think like, oh man, like somebody would have told me I could have did this for a year, and to the point where I'm coming on radio to promote it on the African Groove Show. I couldn't have wrote that in any better way. So I'm a true believer on the work. I stick to what works, and you know, and it's me, it's myself. This is how I am in real life. You know, I give out good energy, and I expect it back, kind of thing.
Absolutely. I love that. Well said. And, you know, speaking about putting in the work, we're all no strangers to putting in the work, all the effort, like the long nights, the sleepless nights. And how do you feel about the work that all of us on a global scale are putting into building our African entertainment industry worldwide? How are you feeling about the wave right now? Because we are moving right now.
I mean, right now, if you're African, you're the coolest thing walking in the streets.
Yeah.
Like this is across the world. Like this is changing the world in itself. Now, we also, you know, we talked about it. Shout out to Bonde. He came on my podcast. You might want to go listen to that episode 33. It's called Bonde Rai. Incredible because I've known Bonde's story, and not even to that extent. I've learned so many new stuff. And good thing we did the podcast before I had to host the Fali concert because I picked up on what you say. The journey to me is the most important thing. I don't look at what you do now and be like, yo, that looks easy. You know what I mean? So I look at the journey. So, and we also talked about like what the African entertainment industry was in Toronto just 10 years ago. Like, it, you know what I mean? Like having African Music All-Star Fest, this is new. This thing is only 2 years old.
It is huge.
There was a time where, you know what I mean, we could not get anything remotely close to that. And also having Fali come to Toronto first time ever that's ever happened, that was huge. Because, you know what I mean, we put out flyers, and this is actually 5 years to the date of when he came to Toronto was 5 years ago. We had a concert, we did the flyer, shout out to Sampi. I remember we went to Blessings Airport, we sat in the barbershop, and then the day after we had to announce to people he's not coming. So like 5 years later to the date, this guy shows up. And I get to like not only be a part of it, but like to be on stage and to host that. And I tell people that story because it took 5 years to do that. So like I know we get impatient and when things don't work or you don't get the view, but trust and believe like the work does not go unnoticed. Even today, like just I announced I'm coming on radio, like it's people that I haven't spoken to in years text messaging me. You know what I mean? So I think the African industry, if you're not in it, you need to get on, but just care about the culture. Don't just come just because it's popping now. Like care about what the culture is trying to do and you know, Kiza Lounge, Mama Land Restaurant Lounge, and all these avenues open and go out there and spend money because we do it everywhere else. We go to Moxie's and we spend the money. We go anywhere else, and then when it's our own, we have a little bit of hard time like
hesitation.
Actually, and I don't understand why because we don't argue about nothing else. But things that are good will always pop to the bubble. And Africa, I mean, it's on the move right now. We are it. We are the culture.
Right. Support your own, ladies and gentlemen. And yes, putting it out there for our African businesses on the outside. Please get in touch. We're always welcoming sponsors on the show as well, right here on the African Group Show. All you got to do is get in touch with Miss Go-To-Girl at tking@g987fm.com. Ibu, thank you. Appreciate you coming through.
Yes.
Once again, let them know where they can get the podcast, the name of it, and also let them know your social media platforms and any shout-outs.
So first of all, I want to shout out to Jacques, my brother-in-law, for always supporting the idea. He actually Motherland ENT. He actually never even started.
He owes us. That's why we don't know him right now. Right,
Tat? Yeah, I know.
He owes us. That's why we don't know him right now.
There's a story behind that. But so shout out to that. And also for me, you can find my personal Instagram is Mr_activated. The podcast is Activated Podcast. It's on IG, YouTube, iTunes. I mean, you could just go to Google and then type in Activated Podcast, and you'll be able to find it. And also, anybody in the city that has an incredible story, my platform is for the people. So if you do have stories like when I have an episode like God's Work, when I have a group of young ladies teaming up together to open up a center that helps young sexually assaulted victims from age of 13 to 30, like this is important for us to highlight those people, because these people are actually on the ground doing the work. So if you have a story you want to talk to me, please hit me up, Mr. Activated, on IG and all that good stuff. Absolutely. I appreciate y'all having me. And Ms. Go-To-Girl, I just want to put it on air. I want you to come on my podcast, because you are in a leader of a woman in this community, and you're doing incredible work. First time I actually got to speak to her, so I'm a little bit honored.
Oh, thank you so much.
And I appreciate that. But you know what I mean? Everything takes time, and when the time is right. I already got Bonde, so I don't need to. So we can put Bonde on the side. But thank you. Thanks you guys for having me, and thank you, Toronto, for listening.
You know what? You go ahead, Bonde. You go ahead.
Yeah, everything was good until we started praising Miss Go-To-Girl. The whole interview was amazing until we got to praising Miss Go-To-Girl.
Too much.
Thank you, Ibu.
Thank you.
Yeah, Ibu.
Ibu.
Yeah, no, Ibu, thank you so much. On behalf of myself, Mc Bonde, G987 FM, thank you for coming. Thank you for all the work that you're putting in, and we look forward to working together in the future.
Yes.
All right, keep it locked. It is African. I was going to say activated. Okay, messing up my flow. It is the African Group Show, 1:36 in the PM, each and every Sunday, 12 to 2, playing the best in African music.
What up? Thanks again for tuning in. Mr. Bonde for giving me the t-shirt. Thanks for having me on the African Group Show with Mr. Bonde. And of course, let's go to girl. Make sure you go listen to Mr. Activated, the Activated Podcast everywhere. You see the logo. You know it's real. You know what it is. Officially activated.
All right, that's what's up. We're in the building. Shout out to Ibu for coming through. Activated. Make sure you go check out his podcast. I don't know what she's doing in the shot, but anyway, she's here too. Miss, I don't want to be left out. Anyway, we're in the building. Shout out to this guy for coming through. Look at the other guy. That bold guy. Where is he coming from? Random. All right? Sundays, right here in the building. G987. It's the way we groove Africa to the world. Jeez. Go back.
Too much fun in the studio. Mr. Activated in the cut. Just had him on the show. Great interview. MC Bonde, Sammy Pro.
Where did you stop? The whole idea was this guy, you know how funny that is.
Shenanigans in the studio.
How funny that shit is.
Mr. Activated, make sure you look me up, Mr._activated, and come get your mind activated, man. Thank you.
I love it. Mr. Activated, MC Bonde in the cut.
I'm Mr. Activated number 2.
Too much.
2.0.
Too much.